We're leaving again. Heading to a new city in Spain. Alright, good morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. And we're heading to a new city. And we're just gonna walk to the bus station. So from Seville, we're heading to Granada, which is 3 hours in the bus. And we're just gonna show you what a travel day looks like, which we do every 3 to 4 days. So yeah, this is part of full-time travel. And that's what we're gonna just show you today. Alright, we'll check back with you in a bit. We have about 15 minutes of walking. And that's one way of saving money. Because lately, we've been just riding taxi, which...
Oh, like free now, they call it here, like Uber.
Yeah, like 10 euro. So we figured that 10 euro, that could be our food for the day. Or at least one of the meal. Alright, so we're in line 27. Because over here, you need to be on the right bus line, like that. So make sure you don't miss your bus, because they're really on time. If not, they're just like 5 minutes late. And then you also have to make sure you look at the bus. You know, that one, sin servicio, meaning not in service. That one, once it's in service, they will put the actual name of the city that they're gonna have the final stop. Are we gonna win? 7 and 7 at second quarter.
Yeah.
So there's our bus, Granada, Sevilla, Directo, there. And they always want us to put big bags on the side. They don't allow for you to carry your big bags inside. Looks like it's gonna be a full bus. Ooh, this is a fancy Alsa bus. We have a TV. Touchdown? Bus? The ticket comes with your seat number, so you just have to look at your seat number. But where's the seat number at? It's on the side of the seats. Hard to see.
Everybody couldn't make a wrong turn. You waver and slip and you get burned. But I'm here, so don't you worry, 'cause you know I'll be there in a hurry. Out of the cold into my warm air.
So now we're in Granada and we're taking the bus to the hostel place, because if we take the taxi it's gonna be like 10 to 15 euro, but for the bus it's only €1.50. So good deal. Alright, so we've been walking for, what is it, just 10 minutes from the bus stop, and we have to go up for our Airbnb. This is a positive side of having the backpack, because if we have the rolly, babe, it's gonna be harder, huh? Oh, that's it. Oh yeah, yay, it's actually right here. You have to go all the way. So this is where we're staying for the next 3 days.
In the sun, it's already begun. You are my one.
Welcome back, random travelers. So we're finally here in our hostel. Actually, it's a private hostel. Our first hostel experience, right? But not in a dormitory. They have a beautiful bar downstairs. Their common room is really beautiful, full of like plants. Just the aesthetic is like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And then in our room we have like a small fridge. As you can see, our room is really, really beautiful. And I think there's only 2 rooms that will share a bathroom, because I only see 2 rooms, 2 and 3, and then there's a bathroom.
One floor, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good. And so yeah, we just want to update you with what you will expect in this channel. Basically, as probably on my introduction video, we are currently on our sabbatical break. We're planning to like travel for 10 months, but we're really taking off a year. But our last 2 months would be, you know, just trying to get back in the groove in the US and reapply. But 10 months would be full-time travel. And I guess we can say, officially, we can say February would be our official month, right?
Starting,
Yeah, starting. So right now it's January 31st. Eric arrived in Lisbon on the 26th. But me, I've been in Lisbon and Spain and Portugal and Spain, kind of crossing borders, because I did like 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks of the pilgrimage. And yeah, so I really fell in love with, you know, the countryside of Portugal and Spain, and it was really affordable, like, you know, going to those town places, like the seaside towns. So I was like, you know what, Bab, I think we can just wing it. Like, it's, you know, I think it's really affordable, so just come over and we'll explore Spain and Portugal. So that's what we did. But so far though, in Lisbon, it's not the same case, because I mean, it's a big city, you know, that's the main city. I think that's the capital of Portugal. So kind of, you know, not what I expected with the budgeting, but we still haven't really talked about the budgeting why. So I think we're over budgeting. Like, we don't eat, we haven't even eaten, well, we did one time, we ate the good food in Lisbon, your first full day, just that first night. After that, we've been just cooking and do some walking tours and then go back to the apartment and eat. And I think that kind of like not so good on my mental health weekend.
It's not too bad. The food we cooked were pretty good, you know.
This is like a personal journey for me too. So it's like, for me, I wanted to eat pastries, I want to drink, you know, coffee whenever I want to, but
You can.
I can, but then it means that we're gonna be over budget. And but that's the thing though, we haven't even talked about how much is our budget per day for this trip. So we're looking like probably 60-80 when it comes, like right now we don't really have a kitchen on this one, which we already know, but we really want a private room. Yeah, funny story, like, so yeah, it's just gonna be very random. And like, our next city we haven't really talked about yet. At least we kind of learn how to navigate their bus system, because it's gonna be much more expensive if we keep taking like high-speed trains and stuff like that. So Google has been really helpful, because most of the time if it's only like 15 minutes walk, then we'd rather walk it rather than pay for a taxi. So we just read the direction in the hostel, like, can we take a bus from the bus station or the train station? And most hostels or Airbnbs, they're really good at putting direction if you're you know, coming from the airport, bus station, or train station. So take advantage of that direction detail. Yeah, it's just a travel and rest day today. We're gonna book a walking tour tomorrow, and we'll take you guys along. Right, since the sun is still out, it's 4:34 p.m. get a early dinner and hopefully go to a viewpoint for sunset. So let's see if we can do that plan. First impression though, I like it so far. It's not crowded and you still have the same feel as Lisbon and Sevilla. Narrow street, cobblestones, and colorful buildings. What I really like is just the, just less people. Sevilla has just been too crowded for me, especially we were at the city center. So far, I'm really, really loving Granada. The cow is compliant with the COVID restriction, wearing a mask. Good job, cow. Look at all the meat hanging. Those are the tapas. So what's the first meal you're trying here?
Order number 2.
Eric's gonna get the doro. Polo, chicken or ternera. Oh, that's big.
I know, I'm expecting.
That's humongous. So what you got? Chicken?
I think the lamb.
It's lamb? Alright, so while Eric is eating, I'm just gonna blab on. So I've learned a lot just for this, I think 1 week. Or less than 1 week that we've been traveling, just me and him, and really like real traveling. Because the first 3 weeks was more of like a pilgrimage, and there's like 4 of us that is sharing everything, especially accommodation, so it gets really cheaper. But now it's just me and Eric, so we really have to be mindful of how much we're spending. And I guess that portion of a travel I did not really think through. I thought we could just go buy like $60, and I forgot that euro is a little higher than dollars. 60 euro per day if there's 2 of you is really not enough, because hostel alone, even if it's like a dormitory hostel, it's like 50 euro per person, so that's already like 30 euro. I guess if we do that, then we have a 30 euro for food, right? If we do 60 euro per day. But we're also doing a lot of like transportation every like 4 days, every 3 to 4 days. So that too, I have to take into consideration. And like we haven't really tried dormitory Airbnbs yet. No, hostel. So, but at this point, we really want a little bit of privacy. Because even with a private room, like the 2 places that we've stayed, it's like an apartment with 3 rooms. Everything is shared, bathroom and kitchen. But even then, you'll be able to hear everything. Like this last apartment that we've stayed, imagine every morning and every night, they're doing their own thing. And for whatever reason, I always wake up when they're doing it. And so I be hearing that, yeah, I get traumatized already. So I'm like, but it's a natural couple thing. But yeah, it's just like, it's very traumatizing. Imagine they're doing it in the morning 3 times. And at night again, they're doing it again. Like not just once, but like 2 to 3 times. And all the banging and the moaning. And I'm just like, So anyway, so yeah, as we go along, we're going to share with you the lessons of what full-time traveling really is, because I think a lot of travel channels don't really like talk too much about it. They only shows like the highlights of the day, which is fine. But I think for a first-time perspective, I think it would be helpful to the future full-time who wants to do like a sabbatical break for a long time, for you guys to be more ready or prepared. I love. So how about you? What's your how do you feel? Because him is different compared to me. I guess I'm very sheltered. I'm just it's like personal perspective basically. Because he's like loving it, which is really good. I'm happy, you know. And also one thing, what I've realized is also for you to really know like what kind of travel do you want it to do? Meaning, are you more of like a city person or more quieter, smaller towns that you want to see, nature versus historical places? Like
Well,
that
both.
really matters.
Both. I like the city and, of course, nature. It's good. Everything's good. I'd rather be here than be at work.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, as for me being, you know, for the first 3 weeks of my travel, we've been in a small towns, beach towns, really quiet, very peaceful, and I've loved every day of it. But since we arrived in Lisbon and we're staying in the city center, you know, just the chaos of like a lot of people, that was kind of too much for me. I don't know if I got used to like the quieter towns and more of like beach, greens, you know, horses, and in the city center, of course, like probably 80% of the people are tourists like us. So there's that like always in a hurry pace, buses, cars. But there's a reason why there's a lot of people goes there. It's because of the historical attractions. Here in Spain, even their roads or streets, they decorated it. So right now, we are heading to a viewpoint for sunset because our hostel gave us a map and then it shows their, you know, beautiful viewpoints, and then they put which one is good for sunset. This is about 14 minutes of walk, and I believe it's going to be an uphill one, love, but it says it has a beautiful view of the Alhambra. So we're heading there right now. So I really miss this kind of walking. When we did the Camino, this is what our view is every day.
So you thought you got it made for. He's the living slipping out the back door. But it's not what you're made for, and there's nothing that is too late for. Out of the cold into my world.
Ano boss ako?